The old Harlan Hotel in the 1500 block of Locust in Des Moines caught fire late this afternoon. News Radio's Bill Lindstrom is on the scene with a live report. Bill, first of all, tell us when the fire started.
Well, it apparently started just shortly before 3 o'clock. No one happens to know right now who called in the fire alarm. But at this point, the fire appears to be out. When firemen arrived at 3 o'clock, large clouds of black smoke and flame were erupting from the roof. One passerby, happened to be a Des Moines youth, Robert Powers, he says he was walking toward the building about a block away when he says he suddenly saw the black smoke and flames erupt. He says he didn't hear an explosion. But at this point, the fire appears to be out, no injuries. The building has been vacant, according to employees around the area, since late last year, and so that appears to be the scene right at this point. Bill Lindstrom, WHO News.
Bill, before you go, can you locate this exactly for us? This is on Locust, exactly where? On what side of the street?
Okay, we've got it on the south side of the street. That's right on the corner of 16th and Locust. And, of course, as Captain Jack said, the traffic is blocked off about 2 blocks on either side of that hotel.
How many floors is that building?
It's a 3-story building. Again, it's vacant. The fire appeared to have been isolated around the back of the building and up in the roof.
Okay, would you say the lower floors pretty much were not touched by flames? Did it seem it was more up in the air in those higher floors?
From what I can tell, the lower floors are pretty intact. No smoke damage, even that I can tell. It appears to have been isolated up to the top floor of the building, up to the 3rd floor.
Okay, Bill, stay put. We'll be getting back to you for an update.
Dave?
Yeah.
This is Captain Jack again. I'd like to add one thing about the traffic jam. Fleur Drive northbound. People are coming that direction. It is backed up all the way to Bell Avenue, coming northbound there. So if you normally take Fleur Drive north, you better plan on going on Bell Avenue over to Southwest 9th, Southwest 7th, one of those streets, because you're just going to get yourself in a tremendous traffic jam going north on Fleur Drive right now.
Are they still down to 2 lanes there at the bridge?
It is 2 lanes both directions, 4 lanes total. No problem that way, but it's backed up bumper to bumper all the way to Bell.
Because of the fire.
Right. See, people are getting to Locust, and they want to. They're going north on Fleur Drive. They want to turn on Locust, and they don't know where to go. So traffic is just a mess near Tech High here.
Well, at least we got Fleur Drive open from the floodwaters just in time. Yes. Iowa Senator Roger Jepson has strongly denied reports that he received campaign funds from South Africa. Jepson reacted to a story in the New York Times outlining South African interference in various U.S. government activities, including the Jepson campaign against Senator Dick Clark. Clark has been a critic of South African racial policies. Jepson told News Radio's Washington Bureau the reports are evidence that some members of the news media refuse to believe Jepson won the campaign fair and square.
They're just like in any organization and any occupation, there's always a few that want to deal in sensationalism or will let their personal feelings get involved, as I feel sometimes has happened in my case, and use the power that they have with the written word to let their personal feelings essentially verbally assassinate someone.
Jepson says the incident reminds him of Alice in Wonderland, in which the Mad Hatter ran around making nonsensical statements, unquote. Relatives of a woman who died from injuries she received at the Des Moines City Jail have been awarded $65,000 in damages. Details on that from News Radio's courthouse reporter Pat Sweeney.
Raymond Lang filed a lawsuit against the city of Des Moines and charged negligence resulted in the death of his mother. Joan Lang was a patient at Broadlawns Hospital in the detoxification unit when she walked away. Des Moines police were notified, and when they found her about 5 hours later, police arrested Lang for intoxication. According to the plaintiff's attorney, Lang was placed in a solid steel jail cell when she began having delirium tremens convulsions and fractured her skull. Lang was comatose for 7 days before she died March 27th. The jury was out for 4 days before awarding $65,000 in damages. Pat Sweeney, WHO News Radio.
4:06 at News Radio, a rainy forecast coming up next.
You know me? I'm Tom the Coach Sherlock. I used to be a waiter for the Rusty Scupper restaurant and show that American Express card. Don't leave home without it.
Iowa AccuWeather, a flash flood watch in effect for the state. Cloudy and damp tonight with showers and dense fog. Some of the rain may be heavy in spots, and a thunderstorm could pop up as well. The lows tonight, 36 northwest and 50 southeast. Windy and cooler tomorrow. The rain may end as some wet snow in the north and west. There could be some slushy accumulations. In central and eastern Iowa, there will be some additional showers, with temperatures falling into the 30s in the west, but remaining between 50 and 55 in the east. Saturday, intervals of clouds and sunshine, breezy and chilly with the chance of snow flurries in northeastern Iowa. The highs on Saturday, 34 to 46.
In the Des Moines area, overcast and damp tonight with showers and fog. Some of the rain may be heavy and there could be a thunderstorm, low near 40. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, breezy and turning colder with more showers likely. The high 47, but temperatures may drop into the 30 by day's end.
Rain showers continue to fall in scattered sections of southwestern, west central, south central, and east central Iowa. Radar weather shows heaviest showers located in west central Iowa between Omaha, Council Bluffs, and Atlantic. The heaviest showers in east central Iowa, located just south of Cedar Rapids. We have 55 degrees with light rain reported in Lamoni. Also here in Des Moines, it's 55 degrees under cloudy skies. Here in the capital city, easterly winds at 12, humidity 72%, and the pressure falling from 29.61.
8 past 4, massive traffic headaches this afternoon. Captain Jack has an update.
Okay, Fleur Drive in particular is just backed up as much as, well, just everywhere. Northbound on Fleur Drive because of that fire. Locust is closed off at 18th, 17th, 16th, and 15th, those streets in particular. But the lights here in front of Tech High School are not arranged to take care of this kind of a problem. We got to get some kind of direction here from the police, but it's going to be a major tie-up here for quite some time. So try and avoid Fleur Drive northbound. That's a big thing. Now, Fleur Drive, if you're going southbound, no major problem there. Both lanes are open southbound and both northbound. Just very heavy traffic in that area. Other than that, we have no access report in the capital city. You shouldn't have too much trouble, but just kind of pleading with you if you can to avoid Fleur Drive northbound, going over Southwest 9th or some other way anyway. Dave?
What about Grand Avenue on the backside of the hotel? Is that open okay?
Grand Avenue is okay. You won't have any trouble going west on Grand, but the problem is people going east on Grand, when they get down here where it turns into Locust Street, are being forced to go south across the river bridge. And by doing that, we're getting quite a few people that don't want to go to the south side going to the south side.
55 degrees in Des Moines at 9 past 4. The Cass County Treasurer has resigned after an audit uncovered what county officials consider questionable bookkeeping practices. Eileen Meyer of Atlantic turned in her resignation to the County Board of Supervisors. She had served as treasurer of Cass County for 4 years and was just beginning her second term.
Wapello County Sheriff Bud Irwin took the witness stand today in the first day of testimony against 16-year-old John Franklin Jr. of Eddyville. The sheriff told the jury he saw a trail of blood inside the Franklin home when he arrived there on the morning of January 4th, 1978. Under cross-examination by defense attorney Al Parrish, Irwin said he did not investigate a number of footprints found behind the home. Young Franklin is standing trial as an adult in the shooting deaths of his father and stepmother.
Peace in the Middle East is closer to reality today than ever before. After the Israeli Knesset took a pre-dawn vote to approve the pact, the White House went into high gear with plans for next Monday's signing ceremony. The open-air celebration will be on the north lawn of the White House. 1,200 guests have been invited. On Monday evening after the signing, President Carter, Prime Minister Begin, and President Sadat will go to the National Cathedral for an ecumenical prayer service for Christian, Jews, and Muslims. A state dinner is planned on the South Lawn Monday night.
2 university professors, one an Israeli, the other a Palestinian, say the peace treaty between Egypt and Israel will not end all the problems in the Middle East. Palestine-born Dr. Elias Tumas and Dr. Menachem Brinker are in Des Moines for a public seminar on the Middle East. Brinker says there appears to be no danger of total war for the next few years, but he says Israel has not gone far enough on the Palestinian issue. Tumas says the area has been important to the U.S. for not only for oil supplies, but as a proving ground for military weapons.
There have been some charges, and probably not necessarily only charges, but truths that some of the modern weapons developed by the United States have been sent to Israel for experimentation, where you can experiment with them there. You give them to your friends and relatives and trust them to experiment with it.
The Soviets did the same with Egypt.
Oh, sure.
The Americans had some other opportunities to experiment their weapons because they had wars. Vietnam. The Soviets had no war.
The public seminar scheduled for tonight at 8 p.m. at the Grace Methodist Church here in Des Moines.
Meantime, Greg, Israel is taking precautions against the possibility of attack by hostile Arab forces, as we hear in this report from Howard Arenstein.
Israel is prepared for a possible attack from the east with the signing of the Egyptian-Israeli peace treaty. Military sources say there is some concern here that Syria, Jordan, and the Palestinian guerrillas may try to open hostilities to mar the achievement of the first peace pact between Israel and an Arab state. But military analysts say that would be a mistake on their part, because the Israelis, with the Egyptian front quiet, would be able to concentrate their efforts against the Jordanian and Syrian frontiers. Diplomatic defense sources say the Israeli army is currently at a peak of readiness and stronger than it was at the outbreak of the 1973 war. Howard Arenstein, Tel Aviv.
President Carter spent today reviewing the nation's battle with inflation. At the same time, White House News Secretary Jody Powell was telling reporters that despite the huge jump in corporate profits in the early days of the Carter anti-inflation battle, there are no plans to seek tax curbs on excess profits.
The Carter peanut warehouse controversy may become a 1980 GOP campaign issue. Details from Bob Berkowitz.
3 would-be Republican foes of President Carter stood up for nearly an hour, bitterly denouncing Attorney General Griffin Bell's appointment of a special counsel instead of a more powerful special prosecutor to handle the Carter peanut warehouse probe. Senators Howard Baker, Bob Dole, and Lowell Weicker called on the president to take matters into his own hands and appoint an independent investigator. Weicker, a former member of the Senate Watergate Committee, called for a creation of a similar panel to look into the peanut warehouse allegations.
Then the American be assured that the election laws, the securities laws, the banking laws of this nation are being applied to President Carter and his family as well as they would be applied to any one of us.
And Baker added the president has a duty to clear up any clouds of suspicion. Bob Berkowitz, Capitol Hill.
Here in Des Moines tonight, we're getting overcast, showers, and fog with a low near 40 degrees. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, breezy, and some more showers are possible. The high tomorrow, 47. Right now in Des Moines, it's cloudy, 55 degrees at 4:14.
The United States isn't the only country eyeing Mexican petroleum, as we hear in this report from the Christian Science Monitor's Paul Cunningham.
Oil. It's probably the most worried about resource ever to come gushing up out of the ground. And now, with Iran exporting only a trickle and OPEC raising its prices, the industrialized world just can't seem to get enough. But if the U.S. expects to get some relief from Mexico's newfound supply, President Carter has to face some stiff competition. France, Canada, Japan, Greece, and Brazil are some of the thirstiest clients lining up at Mexico's door, and some of them are offering deals sweetened with the oil technology and expertise that Mexico needs. Mexican oil officials say proven reserves total only 40.1 billion barrels, and that's not enough to go around. But the U.S. is the natural buyer. Being a close neighbor, shipping the oil would be relatively cheap, and Americans could easily provide the needed technology. So although tough competition exists, the U.S. is still in the bidding for Mexican oil. I'm Paul Cunningham of the Christian Science Monitor News Service.
It's a quarter past the hour at WHO. Captain Jack has an update on the traffic scene in Des Moines, and we do have some problems.
Yes, we definitely have some problems right here in the River City. And speaking of that, the rivers are starting to go down in the Des Moines area right now. Fleur Drive is open, all 4 lanes. You won't have any trouble on that account. However, a fire in the downtown area this afternoon has caused Fleur Drive northbound traffic to move at the rate of about 6-7 car lengths a minute, and that's about as fast as it's moving right here in the Waterworks area. Please avoid Fleur Drive northbound temporarily anyway. Come on over to Southwest 9th or 63rd or something else other Fleur Drive until they get this opened up. Locust is blocked off at 18th Street, and so that's what's causing the major problem here, and the traffic lights are not set up to handle anything like this. Also, Grand Avenue, if you normally take that eastbound and you go across right in front of Tech High School, you're going to find that you're going to have to turn south. So if you normally don't turn south, you're going to be in problems because you're going to end up in the south side of Des Moines. So try and avoid Grand Avenue going eastbound if you normally go that direction, unless you want to go south. There's no problem. Fleur Drive south moving smoothly. Now, Grand Avenue itself moving west, no particular problems there. The streets that are blocked off are Locust at 15th, 16th, 17th, and 18th, and that's causing our major headache right now, and the traffic rush really isn't even started yet. Dave?
It is cloudy in Des Moines right now. We do have some rain showers scattered across west central, south central, and east central Iowa, but it's certainly comfortable out. Temperature-wise, it's 55 degrees in Des Moines. We'll take a look at that forecast right after this.
For those who need help with marital, family, or individual problems, the Des Moines Pastoral Counseling Center offers a caring relationship and professional counseling. Special consideration is given at the center to both the spiritual and emotional needs of each individual. For more information, write to the Des Moines Pastoral Counseling Center, 632 Woodland Terrace, Des Moines, or phone 288-6728.
It's what you want to hear and what you need to know. It's WHO News Radio, our most timely listener service.
A flash flood watch is in effect for the state. Cloudy and damp tonight with showers and dense fog. Here in Des Moines, overcast and damp with showers and fog also, the low near 40. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, breezy, turning colder with more showers likely. The high 47. Temperatures may drop into the 30s by day's end. Variable cloudiness, breezy, and chilly tomorrow night with a chance of some snow flurries, the low 26.
The AccuWeather forecast for the Des Moines area from meteorologist Paul Knight.
Overcast and damp tonight with showery rains and fog. Some of the rain may be heavy and there could even be a thunderstorm, the low near 40. Tomorrow mostly cloudy, breezy, and turning colder with more showers likely, the high 47, but temperatures may drop into the 30s by the day's end. Variable cloudiness, breezy, and chilly tomorrow night with a chance of some snow flurries, the low 26. Saturday intervals of clouds and sunshine, still on the chilly side, the high near 40. For WHO's AccuWeather, this is meteorologist Paul Knight.
Right now in Sioux City, rain with 38 degrees, Dubuque 58 and cloudy, Waterloo 53, Burlington has 59 degrees, in Mason City 47, Ottumwa 59, Lamoni reports light rain and 55 degrees. Here in Des Moines, we also have 55 degrees under cloudy skies, winds out of the east at 12 miles an hour. Humidity now stands at 72%. Our pressure's falling from 29.61.
It's 4:18 with a look at Wall Street Journal business news. Here's Larry.
The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 3.55 to 861.31, pushing the index to a new closing high for the year. In the broader market, gainers finished with a 9-5 lead over losers, and volume was around 34.5 million shares. In the business news, rising jet fuel prices are expected to cause some hefty air fee hikes this year, but that doesn't mean an end to discount travel bargains. TWA, among others, is planning a new cut rate deal. TWA is asking the CAB to approve a weekend fare permitting 2 adults to travel anywhere in the U.S. for the price of 1 full fare ticket. The discount would run from April 18th through June 16th. Meanwhile, West Germany's biggest contract order ever. It's agreed to buy 32 of Boeing Company's 737 jets. A bidding war may be shaping up for the purchase of International Paper's oil and gas properties. Mobil Oil is offering to buy them for $765 million, $60 million more than the price International Paper agreed to accept a few days ago. Oil and Southland Royalty. And the Justice Department has gone to court to block Emerson Electric Company from acquiring controlling interest in Skill Corporation. The government contends that proposed combination could reduce competition in the manufacture and sale of portable electric tools and gasoline chainsaws. The next business news at 4:50, Larry Wentz, WHO News Radio.
It's raining in Sioux City, 38 degrees. Cedar Rapids has rain, 55. Elsewhere, skies are cloudy. Mason City, 47. Ottumwa, 59 degrees. Burlington, it's 59, and Waterloo, 53.
What is F&J Home Center? Well, it's a year-round home show. GI and conventional loans.
Residents won't be able to get rid of their large, bulky trash items this spring. For the second year in a row, the City Public Works Department has dropped its week-long spring cleanup. Public Works Director Leo Johnson.
The last one we had was in 1977. Last year we did not have one, and we don't intend to have one again this year. We ran out some figures here the other day, and we thought it would probably be in excess of $70,000 to perform a spring cleanup.
Johnson says he'd rather use his crews to clean up sand on the streets or fill potholes. But the solid waste collection crews will pick up 18 bags of trash between April 9th and May 4th. The usual limit is 12 containers per week. Johnson says he hopes the increased limit will encourage residents to throw out leaves rather than burn them and cause pollution. A coalition of anti-nuclear groups have planned what they call a group act of civil disobedience at the Duane Arnold Power Plant this Saturday. Members of the group known as the Iowa Mobilization for Survival say they plan to block the main entrance of the plant at Palo. They'll be protesting the reopening of the station, which is owned by the Iowa Electric Light and Power Company of Cedar Rapids. Group spokesman Steve Marsden says the coalition includes representatives of Free Environment, Citizens United for Responsible Energy, and the Iowa Public Interest Research Group. Members will meet with the Lynn County Sheriff to discuss that demonstration.
In the meantime, the new movie, The China Syndrome, has some utility officials here in the Hawkeye State worried. Iowa Illinois Gas and Electric Company in Davenport has issued brochures to its employees explaining that the cover-up of safety problems at a nuclear power plant in the movie is purely fictional. Utility spokesman Sam Wilson tells WHO News Radio the movie is a thrilling one, but at the expense of the facts.
I think it's important that the public realize that this movie is not a real-life situation. This is not a documentary. This is all fiction, and it's just another scary tale about nuclear power, which unfortunately has been associated with too many scary tales.
Wilson says most utility employees are aware of proper safety precautions at nuclear power plants, but he says Iowa Illinois Gas and Electric wanted to give its employees the best information possible to handle questions from friends and relatives. The head of the National Governors Association urged Congress today to create a $200 million trust fund to help states with what he called the nightmare of hazardous wastes. Kentucky Governor Julian Carroll, testifying before a House Committee on Chemical Byproducts, told committee members, quote, "We simply have been struggling along on a wing and a prayer." Carroll suggested industries doing the polluting be billed by the federal government, repaying the trust fund in full.
An explosion rocked an oil distribution terminal in Ironton, Ohio today. Flames were sent hundreds of feet into the air, and authorities report at least 3 people were injured. A spokesman for the county sheriff's office says it's not yet known whether the blast occurred in a gasoline storage tank or on a barge on the Ohio River that was pumping fuel at the time. Police say flames from the explosion threatened a nearby tank which held thousands of gallons of gasoline. Dozens of residents were evacuated from the area as firemen from companies in Ohio and Kentucky fought the flames. Participation in the food stamp program has been boosted by a change in the rules, as we hear from John Holloman.
The number of people who got food stamps in January went up to nearly 18 million. The Agriculture Department says this is an 11% increase from the December level. Congress and the administration agreed to take away the requirement for anyone to pay for stamps, and that new rule went into effect New Year's Day. Assistant Agriculture Secretary Carol Foreman explained that in December, a family might have had to pay $60 for $100 worth of food stamp benefits. But in January, that same family would not have had to pay anything for its stamps, but would have received only $40 in benefits. She says the rule change allowed more of the really poor to participate for the first time. John Holloman, Washington.
427 coming up within the next few minutes. We'll have a live update on the fire situation at the Old Harlan Hotel over at 15th and Locust, between 15th and 16th. And we're going to have school lunch menus right now from Pam Kulik.
Good afternoon. Ankeny schools will serve fish on a bun with tartar sauce, corn, banana half, and lunch menus will be repeated on News Radio tomorrow morning. Pam Kulik, WHO News Radio.
Hi, Brenton Banks.
Speaking.
You got this new account called The Works, right?
Right. Member FDIC.
429 at WHO News Radio. There's a basketball coach vacancy on the West Coast as we hear from Jim Zabel.
Right. One of the biggest schools in the country and one of the most sought-after jobs is vacant once again. Citing personal and family reasons, Gary Cunningham resigned today as head basketball coach at UCLA to take an administrative. Iowa also is scheduled to play Iowa State and Drake. Jim Zabel, WHO Sports Radio.
Hey, along with over 100 other...
431 and the news continues on this Thursday afternoon. Lots going on. Here's producer Jack Kinsey.
Officials now say 110 persons were injured today when a truck carrying 21 tons of phosphorus burst into flames in historic Gettysburg, Pennsylvania. The firemen have managed to contain the ensuing blaze. Cancer patients undergoing chemotherapy and persons suffering from glaucoma would be able to be prescribed marijuana if a bill passed by the Iowa Human Resources Subcommittee becomes law. Coming up in this half hour, a Farm Radio editorial, but first, Captain Jack with the traffic.
Okay, we have a rescue unit heading for the 1200 block of Hoffman. You may want to be watching out for that. But our biggest problem right now is on Fleur Drive earlier this afternoon. Locust at 18th is blocked off, so all traffic on Fleur Drive is going, has to go northbound there. And also, if you're on Grand Avenue going eastbound, you're going to find out right in front of Tech High School, that is, that you're going to be forced on Fleur Drive. Now, it took me 20 minutes to go through that right in front of Waterworks up to Tech High School. So try and avoid Fleur Drive if at all possible northbound. Dave?
Thank you, Captain Jack. A fire in the Old Harlan Hotel at the corner of 16th and Locust in downtown Des Moines is under control now. It caused extensive damage to the 3-story brick structure. The fire broke out around 3:30, and a special alarm was called after the initial units arrived on the scene. A witness walking along Locust at the time the blaze broke out tells News Radio what he saw.
Okay, I was walking down the street here and noticed, looked like it was getting like a little cloudy or something. I looked up and seen flames and black thick head out of the top of this building, and then walked down here a little farther and seen the smoke was just pouring out. Didn't see nobody coming from the building. I believe it's vacant, but smoke was really heavy coming out. There's flames coming out of the middle of the smoke.
The building, which is currently owned by Dave Ostrom Imports next door, had been vacant since September. It's the second blaze in the building in the last 6 months. News Radio's Bill Lindstrom was one of the first reporters on the scene there at 16th and Locust. Bill is still there now, and he's on the live line with us. Bill, give us an update on the situation.
Well, Dave, fire officials say the fire was apparently isolated to the center upper floors of the 3-story Harlan Hotel. And as of this minute, the fire is out, and firemen are sort of packing up to leave. The fire began just shortly before 3 p.m. when nearby residents saw that black smoke and flames were creeping from the structure. Des Moines firefighters managed to control the fire in about an hour. The building has been vacant, of course, since late last year. Assistant Fire Chief Ken Hansen says the blaze probably started on the structure's first floor and shot up the center of the old hotel until it broke through the roof. Hansen says he can't speculate at this time what the cause of the blaze was, but fire investigators are right now on the scene. The building and lot on the corner of 60th and Locust is, of course, owned by Ostrom Imports. Wrecking crews had reportedly already begun to dismantle the building, and Fire Chief Hansen says they may have actually been at the building at the time of the fire, but nobody can really tell. But at this point, the fire is out, and the tedious task of trying to determine the cause is now begun. Dave, that's the story from the scene right now.
Bill, this was a special alarm fire. How many pieces of equipment approximately were there?
Well, for sure, 2 ladder companies, at least 3 pumpers, and a power unit. Right now, we've only got 1 pumper and 1 ladder still here, and they're getting ready to leave. I'd say right now that Locust may be opened up within the half hour.
About 4:35.
In Polk County District Court today, a $65,000 lawsuit has been awarded against the city of Des Moines. Raymond Lang brought the suit, alleging that his mother, Joan, died as a result of the city's negligence. The plaintiff's attorney, Nick Critelli, says Joan Lang was staying in the detoxification unit at Broadlawns Hospital when she walked away, then was arrested by Des Moines police for intoxication. Lang fractured her skull in a jail cell while going into convulsions. A Polk County jury awarded the $65,000 in damages.
Marijuana for medicinal purposes in Iowa is closer to reality. That story next.
Save on fashions for men and boys of all ages. Men's consolidation sale at Yonkers downtown.
Iowa AccuWeather, a flood watch in effect for the state. Cloudy and damp tonight with showers and dense fog. Some of the rain may be heavy, and a thundershower could pop up in a few spots. The lows tonight ranging from 36 northwest to 50 southeast. Windy and cooler tomorrow. The rain may end as wet snow in the north and west parts of the state. There could be some slushy accumulations. In central and eastern Iowa, there will be some additional showers. Temperatures will fall into the 30s in the west, but remain between 50 and 55 in the east. Saturday, intervals of clouds and sunshine, breezy and chilly with a chance of snow flurries in the northeast. The highs on Saturday, 34 to 46.
Des Moines and central Iowa weather, overcast and damp tonight with showers and fog. Some of the rain may be heavy, and there could be a thunderstorm, low near 40. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, breezy and turning colder with showers likely. The high 47, but temperatures may drop into the 30s by day's end. Now, much of western Iowa today has had 1 to 2 inches of rain during the past 12 or 18 hours, and that rain will continue tonight. Many rivers are on the rise once again, and flooding can be expected. The central and eastern sections of the state will have showers.
Present time. Dave?
It's 4:45.
Clear Channel WHO continues to pioneer in what it takes to keep Iowans informed. WHO News Radio, 24 hours a day.
Here's the Des Moines AccuWeather forecast. Overcast and damp tonight with showers and fog. Some of the rain may be heavy, and there could be a thunderstorm. The low tonight near 40. Tomorrow, mostly cloudy, breezy, turning colder with more showers likely. The high 47. Temperatures may drop into the 30s by day's end. Variable cloudiness, breezy and chilly tomorrow night with a chance of some snow flurries and a low of 26.
Western Iowa got 1 to 2 inches of rain today, and Jerry Tracy from AccuWeather's on the live line with us now. Jerry, that's not going to help the flooding situation any.
That's exactly right. It's not. It looks like more rain is on the way across the state tonight. I would think anywhere from a half an inch to perhaps as much as an inch and a half of additional rain will fall. We're looking at a very strong storm moving northeastward from the southwestern states. We look for it to be Iowa by tomorrow morning. It's a very intense system caused, of course, heavy snow accumulations in the mountains of Colorado during today, 6 inches in the Denver area. I guess it is fortunate in the sense that our precipitation is coming in the form of rain, but in another sense it's not, because we do have the flooding problems, and no help tonight. Off and on rain, some of it heavy. Be the type of situation where not all spots will get rain at any one time. The storm is a typical spring storm with pockets of heavy rain, other places where it's not doing much of anything. So the rain won't be steady necessarily, but at times it'll come down pretty hard.
What about this snow? Where is that going to hit, and are we likely to get any hazardous driving conditions from that?
Okay, it does look like, fortunately, that the worst of the storm will be over by the time the air turns cold enough for a changeover to snow. And right now we think any accumulations will be restricted to pretty much the northwest corner of the state, where there is a chance of a small slush accumulation, perhaps even a few inches sometime during tomorrow morning. There could be a few hours of tricky driving tomorrow morning with that snow, I think more so because of poor visibilities than because necessarily of major snow accumulations. In central and eastern sections of the state, the cold air will be a little slower coming in and probably won't arrive quick enough to do anything more than cause some snow flurries.
As Joe Sobel said this morning, isn't spring wonderful?
That was a good comment, and some days we'll think that, and other days it just seems terrible.
Thank you, Jerry. 12 till 5.
Rain is reported in Cedar Rapids, Sioux City, and Lamoni, with 1/2 mile visibility in Lamoni. Statewide temperatures range from 38 degrees in Sioux City to 59 in Burlington and Ottumwa. Right now in Des Moines, cloudy with 55 degrees, easterly winds at 12, humidity falling from 29.61.
Well, let's turn to the business news now. Larry Wentz has a Wall Street Journal report.
The stock market closed with a solid gain in active trading. The Dow Jones Industrial Average rose 3.54.
This is WHO News Radio at 10 minutes before 5. Greg Barman and Dave Buzik checking the top stories.
A late afternoon fire damaged an old hotel owned by Dave Ostrom in Des Moines. It's the second big fire at a building owned by that company in recent months.
Meanwhile, motorists are trying to cope with the huge traffic jam caused by that fire.
The father of Marine Private Robert Garwood, charged with desertion from his post in Vietnam, says those charges eventually will be dropped.
At least 3 people have been hurt after a gasoline storage tank exploded in Ironton, Ohio.
And now on WHO News Radio, air traffic reports from Captain Jack's point of view, brought to you by Central National Bank. We are determined to do the best for you.
Well, it's one of those things. Every once in a while we have one, and when we get a fire in the downtown area during rush hour, traffic just gets botched up everywhere. What we have is locusts being blocked off from
Saver account, now at Central National Bank.
7 minutes in front of 5 at WHO. The Iowa House Judiciary Committee has reversed action it took earlier this week and killed a bill that would have overhauled the payment system for Iowa lawyers working on estates. The previously approved bill would have allowed judges to set an hourly rate for lawyers' probate work, but this morning the committee reversed itself. State Representative Steve Rapp of Waterloo, who sponsored the original bill, angrily accused the Iowa Bar Association of exerting last-minute pressure on lawmakers. Rapp says the bar waged a phone call campaign to persuade committee members to change their minds. A Davenport utility has issued a brochure describing the technical flaws in a new movie about a nuclear power plant accident. Iowa-Illinois Gas and Electric Company in Davenport is part owner of a nuclear plant at Cordova, Illinois. Spokesman Sam Wilson tells WHO the brochure is intended to inform employees about errors in the movie The China Syndrome.
Well, I think that most utility employees are well aware of the security safeguards and the various operating safeguards that are present in a nuclear power plant. Employees, of course, of all utility companies are subjected to questions from friends and associates, and part of our program of information to employees is to equip them with the knowledge with which they can respond to questions from friends and associates.
Wilson says The China Syndrome is a thrilling, chilling movie, but the plot is possible at the sacrifice of the facts.
It's 4:54, and in trash news, Des Moines residents will be able to clean up the yard and get rid of some of those old leaves this spring. The City Public Works Department says they'll pick up 18 bags per week instead of the usual 12 between April 9th and May 4th. Public Works Department spokesman Leo Johnson tells News Radio the extra collect